What's up, babe? Nikki here, and inside of this module, we're gonna get rid and detoxify all of your self-sabotaging actions. So up to this point, you figured out your goal, you figured out your why, you made the committed decision, you are in this for the long term, right? But along your journey, you're gonna come up to hiccups. I told you you're going to fail. But the most important thing is that you learn from those failures. You learn from them and you move forward. And what can happen inside those failures is that you still have some of these actions that you may not be consciously aware of. So inside this module, I am going to help you bring light to these actions and detoxify all of them. So moving forward, you have a clear, fun journey, and you understand these kinds of hiccups when you hit them, but you're kind to yourself and you move on, okay? So first, we're going to talk about, taking responsibility of where you are right now and ridding yourself of the victim mentality. Getting rid of that mentality is so important moving forward because, like I've said in previous modules, if you think you can't, then you can't. You're absolutely right. If you keep telling yourself you can't, you're not going to proceed forward. You're not going to get the results that you want. So we're going to get rid of that kind of mentality, and you're going to take ownership of where you are right now. Then I'm going to dive in and talk about the yo-yo patterns that stall your results. And you may not even notice that they're happening, but they do. So I'm going to bring them to conscious awareness for you so that moving forward, you know how to handle them. And on top of that, what can cause those yo-yo patterns to happen is some habitual triggers that you may not, again, be aware of. So I'm going to help you bring those to light. You're going to figure them out. If you ever come to a situation where you're triggered from something, you're going to know it's a trigger. You're going to know how to handle it. And you're going to know how to be in control. That's where we're going to identify the root problem, get to the root problem of it, and help you be in control moving forward along the journey. Guys, this module is freaking powerful. It's going to bring to surface a lot of the demons that you may not know are causing you to have some hiccups or causing you to have some failures, or you're not even aware of these triggers that you have. So really important to tune in and listen up. So let's first dive into taking responsibility of where you are right now and ridding yourself of the victim mentality. So taking ownership of your life, where you are right now in all areas of your life, financially, physically, emotionally. This is all your responsibility. Up until this point, where you are right now is your responsibility. Take ownership of it. You are the creator. You are the controller of your life. The reason why your body is the way it is because you've got it to that point. It's not your job. It's not anything like that. I'm going to talk about that in a second. You need to fully grasp this concept. And it can be really hard to fully grasp this concept, to come to terms with yourself. But when you come to terms with yourself and you accept this, it's so empowering to move forward and know that you fully are in control. You are the controller of your life. But it can be hard to grasp and to fully accept, because usually we want to blame something or someone else for where you are right now, right? You want to blame your job. You want to blame time. You want to blame, traffic. You missed work. You want to blame that you didn't get enough sleep, whatever. You want to blame something or someone else. You want to blame your husband. You want to blame your friends, blah, blah, whatever. It ain't that shit. Let me tell you that. Take ownership of where you are. When you blame something outside of yourself, you lose all control. When you blame something outside of yourself, when you give bullshit excuses, you lose all control. You are not in control of your life. Okay? You're blaming other things, and it's not other things. Your results are in your hands. Take ownership of where you are right now. Everything inside this program is based off of real life results and have changed thousands of women's lives. This program is made for you, providing you all of the tools so that you can succeed, both mind, body, macros, workouts, all that stuff. Therefore, you are responsible for using these tools provided to generate your results. So if you come to points inside this program and you decide to not do the work, you will not get results. Do not blame the program. Don't say this program's too hard. Don't say this program's not working. Guys, it's hard because I'm challenging you. anything that is not comfortable is going to be challenging and hard to do. Know that this program works, and and know that if you come to this point and you decide to not do the work, you didn't have the courage to push yourself through it. You didn't commit yourself enough. So you want to take a step back and you want to go back to your why and your goals and figure out exactly why you're here. Because this works, but you have to be the one that's going to take ownership and do the work. Take responsibility and own it. And the way that you can own it is by getting rid of this victim mentality, okay? Getting rid of these excuses, getting rid of blaming outside forces, saying that I'm not getting results because of X. And the reason why things are the way they are is because X. And X is everything else that is not you. So it can be time, it can be social events, it can be anything. But the important thing to understand here is that X ain't creating anything. X is not sabotaging your results. It's you. Okay, you are in control. All of these external situations, family, friends, social events, going to the beach, being at work, you are in control of it. And make it in control that works for you and the goals that you are achieving. And understand too that you don't know everything. Because if you knew everything, you wouldn't have invested in this program and you would already have the understanding of how to obtain the results and keep them. And keep them is key, right? If you knew everything, you'd be able to achieve your results and you'd be able to see through to them. But a lot of people don't see through to them because they go back into old habits. Or they think that they know everything and they think that, keto or something other is really good. So they try and mix that in with this program. And let me tell you, it's not going to work. So just leave an open mind. You don't know everything, because if you did, you want to be here right now. And if you get to a module on how to work out properly and just think, oh, I already know how to work out. Look, that is a perfect example of that you are blocking an opportunity to learn. Keep an open mind moving forward. Because let me tell you, these victims, these blamers, the people that think they know it all, the excuse makers, those people do not succeed. They do not get results. Do not get caught up in this mentality. This quote, I love at the bottom there, is excuses are lies we tell ourselves so that it doesn't have to be our fault. You are in control. So take responsibility of where you are and everything moving forward. Stop blaming outside things and understand that you are fully in control of everything that you want to achieve for yourself. All right. So let's talk about these yo-yo patterns that stall your results. And guys, this is going to just bring so much light to you, which I hope it does. Because I have been working with women for years now, and these are major things that just get in their ways, and they end up moving backwards. So let me just start off by, this is you, right? You're here, you're starting in this program, you're super excited, you're like, yeah, man, I want to be different, I want my body to be different, I got these goals, I got these whys, I'm all for it, let's go, right? And you take 5 steps forward. Okay, you're doing the workouts, you're doing the macros, you're all in it, you're like, mindset, woo, let's go, let's do this. And then you start seeing results. And then you've got some friends coming over. You've got social events this weekend. You're going to the beach. You've got a holiday coming up. Or you've seen progress. And these factors, these external factors that are around you, because you've seen progress and you're like, oh, I'm good. Like I can take a little break. You take a break. And 3 days of taking a break can actually move you like 5 to 10 steps backwards. Okay, so that's where you end up. You have to go, if you allow this to get in your way, you're like, 2 weeks, I've got a social event. I got 2 weeks to put in the work. You move. You allow the event for 3 days. And then it's like, oh God, it's so hard for me to get back into the groove. And you move like 5 to 10 steps backwards in the other direction, right? How many of you guys have done that? I hope I'm getting a lot of nodding of the heads, okay? This is what's happening here in this situation when either A, you're like, oh, I've got an event, or, I've seen really good progress so far, so I can just ease off a little bit. This is your subconscious idea of doing good, and your mind is satisfied. So your mind shifts and stops doing what it got you there in the first place and begins doing things like rewarding itself, right? So you're like, oh my God, I'm seeing results. Oh, I got an event this weekend. Oh, I've been really good for these past couple of weeks. I saw awesome progress. I dropped body fat, I dropped weight. So I'm going to reward myself. And one reward turns into two turns into three turns into 2 weeks. Y'all moving 10 steps backwards. This is the false concept of success. The false idea that you have reached a particular area that starts driving you in the other direction and literally halts all of your progress, taking you 5 steps backwards or 10 steps backwards to your starting point, or guys, even worse. Like, you could go back to your starting point and be like, oh, I got to start all over again. Or you could go back worse and have that reward go longer, where you gain like 10 more pounds on top of it. Y'all don't want to move in that direction. You don't want to go that way, right? So what's really important is that you can figure out where and what, why, like everything. Where, what, when, and why you get tripped up. And when your subconscious tells you it's okay to stop pushing forward, what does that? Figure out what that is, and you becoming consciously aware of those actions is really, really important. Because, guys, this is what I talked about before. Here, it may cause a hiccup. Y'all may fail. You may not be able to stay on track. But what you learn from that experience is like, okay, how can I do this better next time? That's what's going to get you to drive in the other direction. All right, so you're starting out, you're 5 steps forward, and then you have all these social events. But what you got to do is block out these social events. I don't mean like ignore them and not go. Go, have fun. But understand that your progress is still waiting for you afterwards. Understand that this is just a day that's going to go by. How can you still stay on track? What can you do that's going to keep you in your alignment with the goals that you want to accomplish? Because when you do that and you set yourself up for success within these social events or going out with friends, or understanding that progress, you have so much more progress to make, that's going to keep you going towards your goals. It's going to keep you moving in the right direction. Don't let this shit get in your way, because if you do, it's going to take you longer and longer and longer to get to the goals that you want. That's why it's so important that you figured out your goals. You figured out your why. You listen to the unleashing your strength and understanding how to make those committed decisions for yourself. Because when you do that and you have these hiccups, you can go back to it, read them, or listen to the manifesto and move forward. Don't want to move backwards, guys. We all want to move and increase our lives better, right? We want to get to that body that we all want. So in order to do that, if you're here and you allow this shit to get in the way, you're going to start moving in the other direction. Moving in the other direction causes more pain. And we don't want pain. We're always striving to move away from pain. And the way you do that is you set high standards for yourself with the goals, with the why, with the committed decision that you want. And you can always be better. So if your progress is good here, be better. Set new high standards for yourself. Like, write out your values, write out what you get super clear on everything so that you can always refer back to that, because the person that you want to become is not going to let these little things get in her way. The person that you want to become is going to tackle them head on and keep making progress moving forward. So set high standard for yourself. You can always be better. So if you hit a goal here, right, then what can you do to be better? What's the next step that you can do to be better? How can you turn it up a notch? How can you just always be striving to be the next best version of yourself? Okay, now let's talk about how, maybe here there's some triggers that you may not be aware of, and that could be halting you from what you truly want to get to. So let's talk about finding your habitual triggers and figuring out exactly what they are. Let's bring those triggers to light, which can be so extremely hard to do. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Everybody would be succeeding far beyond, but there's only like that small percentage of women that understand this and move past it. So I promise you that, this is how you can begin to create the positive change in your life, to understand these habitual triggers that are halting you in the progress that you want to see. So, triggers can swing both ways. It could be avoidance of pain, sadness, frustration, pressure of your environment leads one to emotionally eat, right? Like, when you are stressed, like stress is a big thing. Work, home, kids, whatever. You find yourself snacking. You probably don't even know how you ended up inside the kitchen, but you're there and you're eating and you're like the damage is already being done, right? But also the reverse is true with like accomplishments and happiness and celebrations and birthdays and holidays and everything like that. Like you're around these social situations with food and, you're in that situation and you just eat. Like I've worked with so many people that find themselves in the situation and they're just snacking and the damage is already being done, right? So it can go both ways here. But so what happens is that these emotions, they create feelings. Okay, so you have an emotion. Let's say, for example, you're at a social event and you don't like, you're total introvert. You just like being in your own bubble and you just don't want to like socialize or talk to other people. Or even if you're stressed, like being stressed and having the kids running around the house and you're cramming your work in, whatever. Those emotions create feelings. And feelings create actions. So emotions create feelings and feelings create actions. And those actions are usually always eating. And 95% of our actions are unconscious. So we don't even know we're doing it. So if you attach yourself to these feelings that you are getting, like of stress and the emotion of being stressed, and that's when you emotionally eat, or you attach yourself in your social situation, you're like nervous or anxious, you attach yourself to them, and then you create the action of eating. These emotions, they arise within the mind that create feelings within your physical body that cause you to create the action of eating. So what's really awesome here is that, when you have these moments, you can I'm going to teach you in the next module exactly what tools you should be getting at the beginning of your journey, but one of them is a journal. And when these emotions come up or these situations happen, you write down what happened. And then you can always refer back to it and be like, okay, this triggered me last time. How can I make it better? How can I be better? How can I handle this situation better the next time? What do I need to do? Right? So you can do that, but also below this video in the identifying your triggers worksheet, and you guys can download that. And inside of that worksheet, I'm going to just walk you through some questions on, how to identify the triggers that you have. Like, where are the places you go that cause you to lose sight of what you want and fall off your goals? Who are the people who, when you are around them, seem to drive you off course? What are they doing that makes this happen? What things cause you to deviate from your diet or go on a binge? What things cause you to deviate from workout plans and throw in the towel? Like, what's the internal dialogue that is not real, but you listen to it that prevents you from staying on course, right? Like, what's happening? Like, even so in depth in these moments, like after it happens, which is going to happen, complete this document, like fill it out so that it's fresh and it's on your mind. You're like, this is what happened when I was experiencing this specific trigger. After, when you take this mental inventory, take the time to reflect on what is really going on in your life and how it relates to your body and the way that it looks, right? Because when you notice this stuff, you can have complete control and you have the choice to change everything that is above. Like, for all the negatives, you would just eliminate and adjust. And for all the positives, you would just dump more positive onto that. You are in complete control of the way that your body looks, and you will be for the rest of your life. And especially once you understand exactly how to identify your triggers. So this worksheet is below in the downloadable section, and I highly recommend that you complete it and fill it out and get super clear on each one of these questions. Okay, let's go through like how to identify to the root problem of maybe why these triggers come up, because there is always a deeper seated reason or belief that you've had from a previous experience or from the past that is controlling these actions and these feelings. So let's figure out identify the root problem and help you understand how to fully be in control. So, how your reality is right now, this present moment, could bring you back down to problems of your past, how you internally feel and externally create. So, for example, one of my babes that I've been working with for 3 years now was 19 years old and had a major eating disorder, was like totally rehab for it. And if now, in her later years, 29, 28 years old, how her reality is now, at any present moment, could bring her back down to problems of her past. And this has literally happened. Like, we've had conversations about this, and you can what you internally feel, you can externally create. So even though at 29 years old, she could have an experience with her like family members, which she did, where they were worried about what she looked like, even though she's eating 2,800 calories, she's just shredded and lean, but they were worried about it, which brought her back to 19-year-old and having those restrictions and those eating habits and yada, 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 which made her externally create like problems into her world right now at 29. So for example, like keywords could trigger you. You could get called a name from your past that emotionally made you feel sad or angry. For example, like for her, she was too skinny. She was not eating enough. And that those are words that triggered her. Or key memories that make you think back to an extremely painful experience. With it maybe an ex-husband or a spouse or boyfriend or partner, or your parents are calling you fat or making you eat healthy due to your weight as a child. Like any of those keywords or key memories can, even though you're like older and like, I don't know, 40, 50, even though all this stuff is in the past, it's still, you can externally feel it right now and create those feelings to be where you are right now, just by keywords, just by memories. That's why it's so important for your surrounding environment to be with friends and family that, make you feel good. Like, do your friends and family support you, or do they resurface these problematic feelings? Because if your surrounding environment, if your friends and family are, making you uneasy with these feelings, you will turn to food for a coping mechanism, depending on what these memories or keywords are doing to you. You'll turn for food for coping. Like that will be your trigger. If it's, or you'll shy away from not eating if you've had bad experiences with food in the past. So being aware of identifying these like root problem, like, is it actually happening right now, or is it a past experience that you've thought of in the past? Because if it is, those experiences are done and over with. They have nothing to do with your present experience right now. So understanding and listening to what you're feeling and why you're feeling that and identifying that problem can really help you bring to light even more of these triggers that you may have, and making sure that, is it this friend that, makes you feel this way? Because if it is, God, let them go. Like, they are not going to help serve you in the future. And don't worry about letting them go, because you're going to have people that do surround you moving forward. Life goes on, man. Think about, perfect example. How many of you are friends with people from like grade school, right? You have different friends growing up, right? Now, if it's family that's doing this to you, man, you gotta have a sit down and be like, dude, these keywords, like, I'm not me 10 years ago. Like, I'm like, for my client who was 19 years old, like, Mom, Dad, I'm fine. I'm eating 2,800 calories. Like, I don't have any of the means of habitual habits that I had when I was 19 years old and not eating any food and being frail and skinny and being, hospitalized for it. Like, sometimes you just have to have a sit down with people that you actually care about and be like, I'm fine, right? Like, so it's really important to identify that root problem. And that's how you can be in control, is don't fall victim to your past. Know that you have the root problem identified. You can identify and understand consciously that these stories or beliefs are of your past. Like, forgive yourself. That's not you anymore. And accept that this is a learning experience. Like, if you get into a moment where you cave, or you cave in, or you catch yourself going into bad restrictive habits again, take it as a learning experience, figure out why it's happening, forgive yourself, and accept it and move on. Know that you're always constantly learning and evolving. And then, like I said, get rid of that negative energy. What others think of you is a reflection of what they think of themselves. Okay, so, for example, with my stepmom, when I first started this, she was like, why do you want to look like this? And I talked about this in previous modules, but it's because, it's what she thinks, a reflection of what they think of themselves. Like, I hold dear to what I want my body to look like. Maybe it doesn't resonate with her. Maybe it's not for her, right? And that's fine. But understand, don't let that feed into you. Don't let that feed into your decisions and opinions about yourself, because what others think of you is a reflection of what they think of themselves. Any specific comment made to upset you is because that is how that individual is really feeling. So do whatever you need to do to get rid of this energy. And if that somebody is someone that you love, help them. Help them understand how to make the situation better. Help them understand how, like, you know, in a loving manner, like, why is this happening? Are you cool? Are you good? Like, why are you having these feelings? Like, I know I'm good. Like, you know, like, why are you portraying this negativity on me? Okay. And then also, like, in this situation, it's not easy. It's not easy to have those kind of conversations with your family members or friends. So what I like to do is I tend to focus on like some major deep breaths. And when I focus on my breathing, then like I'm kind of in my own bubble, right? In your own positive bubble, and you're taking a deep breath and you're like, okay, how can I handle this situation right now to still, you know, support me, but help the person understand exactly what I'm going for too. Like always stay in your bubble, stay in the positive bubble of yourself, but always be willing to help other people identify maybe their problems and just get rid of your past, get rid of this negativity. You have to align with your power in this journey. As you guys know, going through the previous modules, aligning with your decisions and your wants and your goals is your power. It's your strength inside of you. And you are able to bring back your own power, joy, and excitement when you are consciously aware of what does and does not serve you. You have to be willing to say no, or having to sit down, having uncomfortable talks with people and be like, dude, what's up, right? Or having like, mom and dad, I'm not me. That's not me 10 years ago. I'm eating 3,000 calories. I don't have restrictive habits anymore. You know, like you guys just have to make sure that you are always in alignment with your power and what you want, and what is not like around you, what's negative, you need to either let go of or figure out a way to make it better. Okay, because you're consciously aware now of what does and does not serve you, especially with going through all the previous modules that I just shared with you. So your only action item for today's module is identifying your triggers worksheet. And you know, it may not serve you to do it right now, but if and when a trigger does come up along your journey, and if and when you do fail, which you will, that would be a great time to fill out that worksheet, because it's fresh, it's new, and you're going to be able to identify exactly what does trip you up. And you're going to be able to be clear on it and write it down, that worksheet. So just print it out for now, and if anything does happen moving forward, fill that sucker out. Because becoming consciously aware of why you react to things helps you to make better decisions that align with your goals and why you're here as a warrior babe. So I'll leave you on that note. Guys, make sure you tune into the next module, because in that module, I'm going to be sharing some very important tools for you to get yourself set up for this successful journey moving forward, and exactly what you need to have and where to start and all that kind of jazz. So make sure you dive into this next module, and I'll see you there.